What is
What's going on, man? How are you?
good? How you doing?
Good. That was a hell of an intro.
Thanks. 5 minutes long, man. 5 minutes long. Get ready for another intro. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another insane episode 15 of the Business Breakdown Podcast. Today, we've got a humble giant joining us here today, Dean Kozora. Dean is the mastermind behind Hardly Selling, a sales consultancy that has been making waves in the industry with its innovative approach to sales training, team management, and even client acquisition. In this episode, we're diving deep into the dynamic world of sales management, team building. Dean will share his insights on creating effective sales strategies, managing high performing teams, and navigating the challenges of modern sales environments. Whether you're a seasoned sales leader or just starting out, this episode is packed with practical advice and real world strategies to help you elevate your sales game. A quick intro and word from our sponsors. Finance for Individuals and Businesses began with a vision, a community where like minded individuals could gather to share their passions, experience, and knowledge for a brighter future. Our mission is simple: to foster growth and development and keep pushing everyone forward. We believe everyone has the potential to succeed, and we're here to support that journey. Join our community of leaders and visionaries as we learn, grow, and build a brighter future. For those on YouTube and other platforms, this is a this podcast is originally for a Facebook group, and we plan on keeping it here. Join our Facebook group and network at facebook.com/groups/ finance for individuals and businesses. We'll see you there. All right, back to the episode. Dean, welcome to the show. I'm proud to finally have you on the show. Before we dive into the intricacies of sales consultancy, tell us a little bit about you and about your journey. Thanks for joining.
Dude, of course, man. Thank you for having me. It's crazy, man. I don't have anything exciting to say about myself. I'm a normal dude. Who is Dean? At this point, he's a dad, he's a husband, he's a business owner. There's nothing too exciting. I work out and do all those things too, but I don't have any crazy, this is who Dean is. If you asked me this 10 years ago, it'd be a complete different story. And there's some fun things we can dive into there if we want. But really, the question was how we got into this, correct?
Right.
Oh man, that's a funny one. I'll give you a quick 2 or 3 minute rundown on that.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually, we moved to Nashville about 5 years ago, and COVID had just hit or started hitting. Is 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. My times are off. And the job I accepted down here was detracted. I no longer had a job. So I was kind of just in a place where I needed to find something. And I got offered a job at this company called Traffic and Funnels. No idea who they were, but I was like, hey man, they're paying $45 a year. My bills are paid. I'm good. It's the most money I've ever made at the time. And I was just coming out of a sales environment where I wasn't making a lot. I was selling things at malls, catcalling people. And I was like, well, it's a new start. And didn't know that it was in the sales world. And I got in and I started to learn about sales, how much people were making. And I didn't really believe most of the people when they said what they were making and how they were doing. But I started to see their paychecks from the coordinator. And I'm like, oh boy, I want to do that because that is a lot of money.
Right.
So I kind of fell into it by accident, man. And even getting into starting the business that I have now, I had exited a team that I did really well with. I took them from 1 to 5 million a month. Took another couple teams after that from 600 a month to 1.6, and just a random team from 0 to 400K a month in a month. I did some cool stuff. And I was sitting down with a buddy, and we've been wanting to do something for a while. And all we were doing was we were making fun of sales trainers. Most of the sales trainers on the market, we were just making fun of them. Right. Because I don't believe that sales training needs to be 10, 20K. I don't think that most people should be coming out of nowhere and paying a shit ton of money for sales training. So we were kind of trolling sales trainers, and we just launched the business, and it was kind of just let's offer things to people. And the funny thing is people wanted what we had to offer. We offered mentorship, dude, it sold out right away. We offered some really low price sales training. It sold out right away. We built a management course, sold out right away. And then what ended up happening is some businesses started approaching us, and they're like, hey, can you help us with our team? And I'm like, I guess so, but now we're doing all these things. What do we actually want to do? So it all kind of started as a joke. We started it as a joke because there's a lot of piss poor sales trainers on the market, excuse my language, that aren't very good at what they do, or they're good, but they're just severely overpriced and they're unethical with how they actually sign people on. They're taking people they shouldn't take. So it kind of just started as something I saw bad in the industry. I was like, well, let me just have fun with it.
Right. Can you give a couple examples of maybe who you might have been making fun of at the time, or like what you were making fun of?
Yeah, I've learned to never publicly shit on anyone yet.
Right. Right.
Um, but I mean, dude, there's a million and one sales organizations, right? And these sales organizations, it's like 10, 15, 20K. Most of them are around 10. And their whole promotional strategy is like make 10K a month as an inbound closer, make 10K a month in virtual sales as a whatever it is a high ticket closer.
Mhm.
And they would take these people who had no business being in sales and they would put them in debt to teach them sales, right? They would teach them strategies from some of the greats from years ago, dude. Like they just basically took strategies from someone else and they're like, hey, it's mine. I've built this. It's like, no. Like sales has been around for a very long time. You're
Right.
teaching them your version of basic principles that were created years ago. And then from there, it's just like, oh, now you have this skill set. Now you can go make a bunch of money, but they don't actually do or help with the things that get you to the point where you're making that money. So you see a very wildly low success rate with a lot of the companies. And I know some of those have turned out of the industry due to the FTC, due to just like bad reviews. But we were looking on the back end of like what's actually happening. These people are paying a lot of money. They're getting their hopes, dreams, and everything built up around this thing that this salesperson told them they can do, but they're never actually seeing the result. So there was a lot of unethicacy going on for the name of money, like in the game of money, and there were a lot of people losing because of it. And I was like, I don't like that. I think someone can do it cheaper. And then if people want to enhance their skills, it's the same price for different training. I was like, hey, I could probably teach these people just as well, and I could probably charge them a 20th of the amount and still come out profitable. So we did that, right? Because there's a lot of they will sell you into anything. And I'm in sales, dude. I get it. My teams will sell the shit out of you. If you get on a call with one of my teams, there's a good chance they're going to close you. I'm pretty goddamn sure about that. Statistics and data tell me that. But I think in the realm of like why we did this, there were a lot of teams out there selling to people they shouldn't have. And I was like, well, a lot of people have been burned. Why don't we do right by the industry? And that's exactly what we started doing.
What the businesses that you had previously before the sales company, what were they?
So I had two businesses before the sales company. First one was a fitness business. I started it in 2018. I think it was 2018, and it failed miserably, man. You know, I paid a mentor at that time who basically bootlegged a course from someone else. I had no idea at the time. He's just like, here's my logins, go log in and do it.
Damn.
And I didn't really question that, like, why am I watching someone else's content when I'm learning from you? And just poor results. You know what I mean? It was basically the whole mantra of it was find fat people on Instagram and message them and sell them fitness. And that was the whole mantra. And so I was like, dude, I can do this. I got taken through a proper sales call. I got sold into it. And I didn't make any money. I filmed all this content. I built all these challenges. I built all these like many chat workflows and this and that for like Facebook, ran a bunch of traffic, and I had no idea how to run traffic. And I just spent a bunch of money and went into debt. So like I quit my job that I got after college to just go full on the business, and I failed. And I actually had to go back and work at a supplement shop and get back into sales. And then I got into chiropractic sales, blah, blah, blah. But after that, after I got a little bit deeper in the sales world, I owned a company called Global CEO with two business partners. And we basically helped online or personal trainers go online. We solely focused on if you were a trainer, if you had a big following, because the big thing for me is I'm not going to take someone from 0 to 1. Like if you have something, we can work with it. And that business did 7 figures. It was a good business. We did great things. Yeah. There was a bit of misalignment on the ownership side in terms of who was in charge of what, which drove down profitability. So we ended up shutting it down after about, I think, 16 months in business too. But some of our clients, a lot of our clients got great results. Yeah. You know, it was just misalignment on the ownership side, and that's perfectly okay.
Was it with managing partners, like a misalignment?
Yeah, we just started it with the idea. Our idea starting it was wrong, man. Like we started it because we wanted to make a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. And within that, right, that was our main focus. And so like no one really knew who was in charge of what. We had someone that was doing content. We had someone that was doing marketing. We had someone that was working with the sales. But like there wasn't really like equal distribution of like who does what. It was kind of just like, this is your lane, go do it. And there was just misalignment. You could just feel it through the meetings, like when we would all connect. Some people were doing more, some were doing less. And I think we all just got like fed up with it because there were balls getting dropped left and right across the board because there was no delineation of responsibilities. Like there was no delegation of who's doing what. Like we kind of knew, but then in the same part, it was kind of like we didn't, and the business did well. It got clients great results. There's some clients that took what they learned there, went and worked with other coaches and mentors, and they're absolutely crushing it. I mean, we had some trainers making 30, 40K a month. Not that that matters, but like we had people get great results. But it wasn't in alignment with what we wanted. And we knew that if we were going to actually push it to where we were going to be happy and serve the main goal of like, we're doing this to make money, like we were probably going to have to get a little unethical. And I just wasn't willing to do that. Like I wasn't willing to just sign everyone under the sun. And that's kind of what aided the profitability is like we were getting everyone in through our funnel. We were paying for all this traffic. But out of the people that were coming in MQLs, the SQLs were much less. Like our SQL, which is sales qualified lead to marketing qualified lead, there was a big discrepancy. So like we couldn't sell everyone we talked to because it wasn't the right thing to do.
Right. What do you think probably like your biggest issue was outside of management and I guess the conversion of
with that business
clients that you were targeting?
Well, everyone, dude, that was during the craze of like everyone wanting to go work online. So like everyone would see like take your training business to XYZ. It was on the back end of all of that.
Right.
But like everyone saw people doing well. So like even if you weren't a trainer, they were seeing our traffic, they were seeing our ads, they were coming through our stuff. And like we were very specific on who our ICP was, like who our ideal client profile was. Mm-hmm. But we would get people that wanted to be our ICP, right? Individuals who wanted to be crushing in the gym, but they're just like, hey, maybe I should just go online. And it's like, well, you don't have any foundational work. Like I can't take you. And that was one of the biggest challenges there, is like, we could have signed a bunch of people, made a bunch of money, but it would have absolutely tarnished our name.
It was just the foundational pieces. So, and then you fell into hardly selling shortly after.
Like a year and some change after. I started managing teams internally, doing really well with them. And even while I was running that business, I was actually managing a few teams and selling because I just do a lot, man. I hustle. Like I'm always doing multiple things. I always have multiple irons in the fire. So like even as that business was running, I was selling 2 other places and managing 1 team, and then also running that team, running that business. So like I always had a lot of things going on, and it was just because like I've learned that in my sales career, don't put all your eggs in one basket unless you know goddamn well that basket's weaved well. And I knew the basket wasn't weaved well. So in order to take care of my family, pay my bills, I was always just dipping around because I like money, dude. Like we all like money. We're in sales.
Right.
So I always had my things around. I took a team during that from like a couple hundred a month to $1 million a month off of a really low ticket product, like 3K. And we were just selling the absolute living shit out of that. So we did some cool stuff while that, but after we shut down the business, I kind of just took a step back and I was like, I'm just going to sell some of my own fitness because I've literally been teaching people to do this and I've done it. So I just started selling my own fitness, and I could have skated by and made like 15 a month, hanging out, barely working. But I was like, it's just not that fun because again, what we were doing, like a lot of the people that you find organically on Facebook that'll find you, they're in the 0 stage and you have to take them to 1. And like, that's just the most excruciating part of anything is 0 to 1. Like, cause you have to take someone who doesn't know anything, who doesn't have any foundational like pieces, give them the foundational pieces and get them to do it. But getting them to actually do that is difficult. So like, I just was like, you know what, like I've signed a bunch of clients, we're doing well, great, but it's not what I want to dive into fully. And I had an opportunity to manage a team. The CMO actually, I walked with him every morning and he's like, hey, you should come sell over here. It's like, no, I think I turned him down like 6 or 7 times. And I finally just said, like, I'll take the interview. And the only reason I accepted the job was because I saw the manager at the time and I knew if I came in, I was going to take over the team. I was very aware just because I saw where they were at. I saw how he was, I saw the needs. So I took over in the first week. I think I closed like 6, 7 deals, nothing crazy, but like I didn't have that many calls. I was just going through people's pipeline and calling their pipeline and emailing their pipeline because no one else was. And they were like, who is this guy? Right? Immediate, like this guy that just came on is closing a bunch. So they had a conversation with me, bumped me up, and that put me into a good position with that team where I could take it over and actually lead. And we took over, led, and did really freaking well. And then about a year following is when we started hardly selling. So it was a really, really quick bump up, but it was due to all the things I had been doing.
Yeah.
We didn't randomly say one day, I just want to start a business. It's what are the experiences that we have? What are the gaps in the market? And what do we see in the market that we dislike? And that actually is what started hardly selling. Is we knew what we were good at based on our previous experience. We saw what we didn't like, and we also saw where people weren't fulfilling. So we're like, well, let's just do it better. Let's fill those gaps.
With how many partners do you have with Hardly Selling now? Do you keep growing partners or?
So I had one partner to start. He exited in December. Good terms. He just had something going on the side that was more stable, and he had just bought a house, and I think he bought like 80 acres or something crazy like that.
Nice.
And he needed something stable because now he had a mortgage, and now his wife wasn't working. So like he needed more stability. So when we parted, it's good terms. We talk pretty much every week, and we send each other really funny memes on Instagram every day. So like we talk all the time. But I bought him out, great terms, and truth be told, I would take him back at any point if need be, like if push came to shove, because he's really good. He went and took a team from, I think, like 400K to about 3 million a month in a matter of a year. That's why he left, because that team was growing, and he has a percent of what comes in there. So he's making great money. So he's great. But in the current state, I have one equity partner. I'm not sure if you know who Taylor Welch is. I have equity in his company. He has equity in mine. So we have an equity swap, and we have another partner as well. Like no actual signed on partners yet, but a couple people who are somewhat partners right now.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know Taylor personally, but I started following him after you had tagged him in one of your posts a couple months ago.
He's a smart dude, and I actually have a podcast coming up with him next week where we're going to talk about why we partnered. Because I think there's a little bit of confusion. People are like, why are you guys working together? Because there's a view on him and there's a view on me. And if you don't actually know us in depth, you kind of look at it from the outside and you're like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. We're going to dive into that next week on a podcast. It'll probably be a very long podcast, but it'll give people the insight into why we actually partnered, like what the thought process is, what I see, what he sees, and what our vision is. And that's going to be a fun one, dude. We're filming it in person too, which will be fun.
Is the podcast going to be live?
Probably not. We haven't found a way to run it live from that studio yet because it's the company we use is another company in his portfolio. So he has a piece of it, right. And it's ran out of one of the guys' houses, like the studio is. So we're probably not going to stream that live. We'll probably give it a week or two and then put it live out there on Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. But it'd be fun to have it live.
That studio is really in a house?
Bro, it's in someone's upstairs of their...
it looks pretty good, man.
Dude, he's good, man. He's really good. I worked with him 5 years ago, and he's really good. He owns a company called Femi Collective. If you guys need any filming for events, Femi Collective is it. But yeah, it's a great studio. It's his house, and he's like, why would I get an office when I have this freaking 3-bedroom house that I only use one of the bedrooms? Yeah. It's like, it's perfect. And then I can write it off too, so it's even better.
Yeah, for sure. Where's he out of?
Franklin, Tennessee.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah,
so hardly selling. Is everyone out of Tennessee? And you're growing your team right now.
So our business is in Tennessee technically. We have Taylor who's in Tennessee, Peyton who's also in Tennessee, Sean who's in the UK, and then Will who's in Wisconsin. So we have an office supposed to open August 1st, but I think that's going to be pushed back just due to some logistical problems, probably till October or January. But we do have an office opening here very soon. And when we do, we'll most likely set it up to where it's a little bit nicer. Like the whole reason everyone sees this like really shitty office behind me is because I know the office is coming. And I'm just like, well, why would I set this up? And if I know we have an office coming and I'm going to actually put some work into making it look nice, why even waste my time? So it's going to get pushed back, of course. So people get to see these beautiful stripes on my wall all the time. And it's okay, dude. No one's here for my background. Hopefully they're here for me or just some of the chaos I cause.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I followed you, started following you maybe about a year ago whenever you're doing your fitness competition. Just starting to get ready for it, starting to cut and everything, just programming, prepping. I'm guessing you might have got on a new nutrition plan. It just caught my attention. But yeah, that's how I came across you. And then you ended up winning first, right?
Yeah, we took first, bro. It was awesome. We took first. It was a good show. It's my last show. You know how it is though. Like it's something I'm passionate about. So like I'll
Yep.
probably always be teetering on the edge of do I want to do more. But the reason it's my last is I have a son, dude. In bodybuilding, like people see it and they're like, oh my god, he looks great. Like everyone thinks health, and it's like the complete opposite of health. Like there's nothing healthy about getting that lean. Like nothing healthy. Like you're literally operating at one extremity for weeks, months on end, right? And with that comes just a lot of fun. Like your body's put through absolute hell. When you dehydrate your body, like you're putting your kidneys through a little bit of a push. When you
Yeah.
get that lean, you're literally putting yourself into starvation mode and hanging out there and pushing further, right? So it's like I have a kid. It's not healthy. Will it shave years off my life? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. I can't tell. Like there's no way to actually test that stuff. So I'm just like, it's probably smart to like not hang out on that extremity because to get where I would want to go, it would require so much from me, man. Like it would
Yeah.
just require so much of my time, effort, energy. I would have to push the extremity, getting lean this extremity, getting big as this extremity. I'd have to hang out over here for a long time. And it's like, even then, dude, I get sleep apnea when I get closer to 240. Blood pressure gets high because your body doesn't know the difference between like fat and muscle. I could be 250 pounds of muscle or 250 pounds of fat. My heart feels the same way. I'm actually, I do a lot of sales and business things, a lot of
Hmm.
sales management stuff. Dude, I studied, like when I first went to school, I went to school for pre med. Like I understand the human body. Like I know how this shit works. I understand like how to get people shredded, how to get people big. Like I'm very good at that stuff, but like selling fitness and building a business around fitness isn't it. But I say all that to say, like, I'm very understanding on how these things work. And I know that every time I push up on that heavy side, I feel it. And it's like, just like anything else, when you look at like people dying in the world, the number one reason people die is obesity, right? We can label it down to other things, but it's because they're overweight. And your heart and body and organs don't understand like fat versus muscle. They understand that like, hey, this person weighs more, so it's requiring more to do the things on a daily basis that I normally do. And so like I know that like that's the leading cause of death in the US. Why would I push it that far? So like I definitely, it probably is my last because I'm up 35 pounds from my show right now. I feel it, dude. I'm on blood pressure meds right now because I have to be. Otherwise, like my blood pressure is out of whack because 35 pounds in 7 weeks is a lot of weight.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. The So I'm guessing you're retiring now as a fitness guy, but I'll probably see you bring it back in the senior competitions or something, and just come back for whatever reason, just because you got bored.
You never know, dude. You can take the animal out of the jungle, but you can't take the jungle out of the animal per se, man. Like I'll never stop lifting. I'll never stop training. I'll never stop eating the way I eat. It's just a part of me.
Mhm.
Will that part of me lead to that later? I don't know.
Right.
But the one thing I do know is like I've tried just like pulling these things away, and when I do, every other area of my life suffers.
Yeah.
So like I do still do that stuff, and I will continue doing that stuff. I will continue eating. I will continue training. I will continue doing cardio because it's a very, very big part of who I am.
Hmm. With I know we're kind of getting off topic, but I think that's such a dynamic part of who you are, just your level of discipline and commitment. Um, you're very very humble, which is always cool to see. I've always been around more cocky individuals, and it's cool to see the humbleness every now and then. But cockiness doesn't. as long as there's like, some kind of backing behind it, not just, you know, crazy confidence, delusional confidence.
I think I was having this conversation with Taylor last night, actually, and it was a really good one, man. And I was like, I don't ever think I'll ever think I'm good. There will never be a time where I feel like I'm actually good at what I do, because there's a standard I have for myself, and it's better. And I always have to get better. And
Right.
I never really can celebrate like I've done this. Like, dude, I won first in my show. I didn't win the overall. That's where my mind goes right away. It's like I took first, but I didn't take the overall. So I beat everyone in my class. But like when we compete against classes, I didn't win. And so like I'll always be chasing that next thing. And like it keeps me humble, because I always recognize there's a bigger fish, there's a bigger chase, right? There's something more ahead of me. For me, it's kind of a sick mentality, because a lot of people say you should celebrate your wins. I feel better celebrating a loss. I always want to see a way I could have been better, because it allows me to continuously self improve, right?
Right.
That's why I do well managing teams. That's why I do well in sales. Like that's why I do well overall in life, is because, dude, we had a great day. I'm not gonna go celebrate, dude. Like we could have done better. There's
Yeah.
always a little bit more we could do. And like it keeps me as a human humble, because I'm always looking at the extra one, two, three things that could be done. But I'm also recognizing that there's someone out there better and bigger than me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not like it's oh, that's just how I think of it. That's literally how I think about things. Like that's
Yeah.
not a tactic. That's not something to like help my mind. That's just what is ingrained in my mind. There's always someone bigger, better, and there's always someone that's beating me. There's always somewhere I could have been better. So like it's not a tactic to try and make myself good. It's just how my brain is wired. You
Right.
know, people can challenge me on that, but it's like I'll always find the negative. And the reason that like nothing bothers me and that I can stay so humble is because like there's nothing you can say about me that I haven't already said about myself. I've looked at myself in the mirror every morning for the past 7 years, and I still don't think I look good. I still see areas that could be better. My arms could be bigger. My shoulders could be bigger. My chest could be more rounded. So it's
Right.
like every area of my life, business, work, fitness, whatever it is, I see the flaws. So like I stay very humble, because I see there can be more, but it's also like nothing can bother me, because like I've already said and seen that shit and probably 10 times worse. So like you can't say or do anything that's actually going to like offend me. And I don't know if it's a superpower, or maybe it's just how I think and operate. But
It's
like
close.
I'm pretty just even keel, man. Like you can't bring me down, you can't bring me up. I'm operating no matter what.
Right. Yeah. Man, there's a lot that goes into operating at that level. It becomes an obsession at some points. Sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's unhealthy. But um, you find the pros and cons, and you kind of have a balance. Um, I'm the same way, um, and I don't even like compliments. I'm just like, yeah, thanks, because I don't want my ego to get too big. I want to stay kind of where I am on my grind, see what I see, um, and just adjust as needed. Um,
It helps.
yeah, for
It
sure,
helps.
for sure. With the sales, managing a sales team and all that stuff. How many team members do you have so far?
On my team or on the teams we manage?
On both?
That's a good question, man. I should probably have a number on this. On my team, dude, I have 4 people on my team, like 4 that work with me. I don't say for me, I say with me, because we're all in this together. I
Right.
don't I'm very open to how they want to do things. I know I'm not always correct. But in terms of like the teams we manage, like that's a big number, dude, because we manage teams externally. We train a bunch of managers and we train a bunch of sales reps.
Yeah.
So, like, if we look at sales reps across the board, from the teams we're directly managing, teams we're indirectly managing because they get our stuff, and then also like the reps we train, there's probably like 160, 170 out there. I looked at the number in our circle the other day, and I think it was like 176. And don't quote me on that because I don't know, but there's quite a bit, because we put all the teams in there, teams we work with, managers we work with, like everything, and they all get trained by us. It doesn't mean they're all like directly trained or getting on all of our trainings,
Right.
but they do all have access to our stuff, and they either get it from us directly or through the manager who we're training directly. So we have a really, really large impact right now. And truth be told, like it's nowhere near where it's going to be.
Right. That's the exciting part.
Oh, dude.
That's the exciting part. With training salespeople, managers specifically, what do you think is kind of the harder thing with training a manager? Because it's not always mindset anymore because they've already passed that.
Mhm. Really good question, man. It's not a mindset training, like it's to think correctly,
Sorry, say that again.
because it's getting managers to think correctly,
Okay.
because they know how to do it, they don't know how to view it. And it's a very, very different thing, right? Imagine like you're a basketball player and you now go to coaching basketball. It's very different. You can get on the court and shoot, you can dribble, you can do all the things, but like actually coaching someone and overseeing how that team is run is very fucking different than playing the game.
Right.
And I think there's a very, very confused population of people that think just because I sell well, I can manage well. It's like, no, it's not about playing. Like, I don't care how good you are at sales. What it comes down to is how good are you at strategy and how can you zoom out, right? Because, dude, sales reps are very zoomed in, like on a day-to-day basis. They're focused on the call. They're focused on closing a deal. They're not really focused on things outside of there. A manager has to be able to come out here and zoom in here consistently. And getting them to think that way and recognize that it needs to happen on a day-to-day basis is probably one of the more difficult things, because I'll have a manager come to me and say, well, I'm doing all these call reviews. Like, why isn't my team getting better? And we look at their numbers and it's like, well, they don't need more call reviews, dude. They need more calls on their calendar. They need more qualified calls. They need to manage their pipeline better. You're just having people like detracted away on the front end from how you have your funnel set up, from how you have your pre-call set up. So like a good manager is out here. And then when they see a problem, they zoom in and they get really crystal clear on what that problem is. They solve it and then they zoom back out and then they look at metrics. Is the number moving the way I want it to move? So like, to answer the question, man, it's getting them to think correctly on how to view everything, because they become so hyper focused on one thing that shit's burning all around them and they don't know what to put out. The ideology we want managers to operate in is shit is always breaking, shit is always on fire. What is the one thing, if I solve it right now, that'll give me the biggest return? Solve that. After that, let's do the same thing. What is the next biggest thing that if I solve will give me the biggest return? Whether it be I just need to hire more people, I need to train my team, I need to do call reviews, I need to look at our pre-call. Like, what are the things that I need to do that are going to give me the biggest return? And like a lot of sales managers, it's like sales training, call reviews. It's like, yes, all that stuff works though. But if your team close rate went up 10%, what would that actually equal revenue wise? Would it be worth the lift it would take you to give them that? Probably not. What if we increased your show rate by 20%? What if we increased your volume by 20%? What do the numbers look like there versus an increase in close rate? Right. And so teaching managers to look at things this way is very difficult, because they become so hyper focused on one area. And then while that one area is being fixed, what we have to recognize is like the team is a moving ship. As the ship moves, the problem it had at point A is a different problem at point B, is a different problem at point C. You may solve this problem, but if you're still focused on it when it gets to the second point, the third point, you're missing all of the other things going on, because you're going to have people have bad days and have just like no closes. You're going to have people quit. You're going to have a bad string of leads. Someone's going to forget to manage their pipeline. Dude, you're not going to have actually like done anything on the front end to get more sales reps in, and all of a sudden like 2 people quit and you're like, well, what do I do? It's like, so you have to be hyper aware on how to think about these things. And that's what I try and teach sales managers. It's not so much train your team this way, or here are the exact playbooks you need. It's here's the way you need to think. And if you can think this way, then these playbooks come into play. Not every lever that you have as a sales manager is for every person.
Yeah.
There's different levers for different activities.
And there's different, I guess, sales characters. Not everyone sells the same way. Not everyone has the same kind of persona character. But no, that's pretty interesting. With growing from there and trying to bring in more sales, not necessarily leaders, but sales reps. Recruiting. Do you guys do recruiting?
Oh no. Oh no. Dude, our teams can recruit from our sales training for free. And if there's anyone out there that has a good team, dude, I'll make sure that it's as good as you say it is. I'll just take a quick look, see what everything looks like, ask you a couple questions. Dude, you can recruit from there for free too. I don't care.
Right.
That's just something we offer. Recruiting is an area I won't touch just because like it's so finicky. Dude, because if you hire someone through a recruiter, there's some type of guarantee on that. And then you're basically relying that this person is going to be the individual you need them to be. I can't control that. Because I can't control it, I won't offer it. But instead of it, I will offer you the ability to recruit from my group and my people. Like that's 100% okay. And I'll tell my people what are the good offers. I'll give them honest insights. I won't touch that. What I force teams to do instead is at scale, bro, build a freaking recruiting funnel, build a hiring funnel, build a recruiting pipeline. Because part of your job as a manager, like when you actually have a team that's over 2 people, is you're recruiting, hiring, and onboarding all the time. And like it's much more simple to have a process there than to just sit there and Facebook and message all day.
Right.
So you can even take that, dude. You can run traffic to it. There you go. We solved the recruiting problem. Build a hiring funnel, run traffic to it. On the back end of that, have the individual look at a video that as you as the company owner talking about the company, what you do, so on and so forth, have them submit a Loom video. And then your job is simply to just watch Loom videos. Do I want to interview my boy Ryan over here? Do I want to interview Dean? Well, it's like based on the video, sure. But like you save a shit ton of time on the front end. You can put that anywhere. You can literally put traffic behind it. You can send it to your email list. You can put it out organically. You can use someone else's list. It's like that little thing right there is just a nice plug where you can just put in places and it just feeds itself. And then guess what? We don't have a recruiting problem anymore. Now we have an onboarding problem. Yeah. That's the easy one to solve.
Yeah. Yeah. That's onboarding training, handbook, all that good stuff, team building, chemistry.
Yeah. And just for clarity's sake, did I push my next call back 15 if you got till the top of the hour? I know we were only booked for 45. I pushed it back if you want to keep going.
Yeah, we can keep going. Is that cool?
100%, dude. I have a training with the team we work with. I just shot them a message to tell them I'd be pushing it back. They asked me if I was on the Joe Rogan podcast. So I'm just going to say yes. So thank you, Joe.
I have a little bit more hair. I'm not as big. But he's definitely an interesting podcast to watch. I've watched a lot of this stuff. With, do you watch any podcasts or listen to?
I do.
Who specifically?
So there's a guy, Fuad Abiad. It's called the Real Bodybuilding Podcast. Okay. And I got all of the ideas for our podcast from him. Not so much of like how to do it, but like there's a reason I listen to it. Mm-hmm. And I love bodybuilding. That's my shit, dude. But they don't really talk about bodybuilding the entire time. 75% of it is them just hanging out, talking shit, cracking jokes. It makes you feel like you're a part of. And then it also brings you into the conversation when they do talk about bodybuilding. It's centered here, but most of the time is spent out here. And dude, I really like that style because like we do get into the weeds. We do spend a lot of time here. But dude, we will crack jokes throughout it and mess with people and laugh and go on tangents. And I think that's why people listen to our podcast. I don't know. I've looked at the analytics. They're pretty good. They're not amazing, but I don't do it for the viewers or the listeners. I'm having a great time. Right. And so like, it covers 2 bases. Like we get great content out, but also like, dude, it's a fun hour. It's a really fun hour every time.
Yeah. With all the sales and stuff that you've done, is there like a mentor that you watch, or not necessarily a mentor, but someone that's in the sales industry that you actually enjoyed watching, enjoyed listening to, and he wasn't that spammy person or that super salesy person that you were kind of straying away from?
Yeah. So funny enough, man, like I first learned sales at this level just from being in the traffic and funnels office, like Peyton. I was listening to Peyton do coaching on sales pretty much every day, but also a live call once a week. And I would just sit there and listen. And I learned also about leadership and just how to like guide people from just sitting in sales meetings with Taylor. And that's when I worked there. And I think that was the most fundamental shift in me learning sales. But after that, I didn't hire a mentor. I had no mentor. I didn't hire anyone because I just didn't jive with anyone, man. Like there's requirements I have to where I'm actually going to listen to you. And it sounds bad, but there's 2 requirements I have. And I hired one mentor about 2 years ago, and he works for me now. He works with me, but for me, he works for my company. Requirement number 1 is you need to be in shape. Because like if you're not doing things to take care of yourself, it's really hard for me to listen to you. And it sounds bad, but like if I can't relate to you, I just can't listen to you. And it sounds horrible, but like that's just how my mind goes. Like if you don't take care of yourself, like I don't listen to you. Like I might say those are some great things, but if you were to give me personal advice, I'm just not going to take it. The second one is you have a great relationship, because I very much so value my relationship with my wife. I value my marriage. Like I value like how family should be run. And like if you don't have those two things, or you're terrible in one of those two things, it's hard for me to listen to you. And checking those two boxes is hard. The only mentor I ever hired was Sean Ray, and he works with me now. And a lot of our sessions, it wasn't so much around like sales tactic or anything. Like Sean would just help me see things differently.
Mm-hmm.
And like he helped me open that part of my mind to, hey, you're on this path, but you're not stuck in this box.
And what
And it kind of, like, for example, one of the big things, like he was mentoring me when I was running a very big sales team. And he asked me a question. He said, well, what happens if your ad account gets shut down? He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, well, my people are going to outbound. And he said, no, they're not. I was like, well, why don't you think that? He's like, well, because they're on a gravy train right now. The gravy train's rolling. Why don't we set something up now so in case something happens, they're good? He's like, you have to be thinking second and third order of consequence,
right,
within your organization, within your team. If this happens, what will I do? Right? Because the team's looking to you for confidence. And he's like, if you have confidence in what is going to happen when shit hits the bed, they're also going to have confidence in you and they will stay with you. Right. So he helped me realize we needed to build an outbound team, an SDR team. Second month that team was in, they did $800,000 in revenue. Awesome. But it was on the back end of his suggestion of like, hey man, like what happens if this breaks down? What happens if the gravy train stops rolling? Everybody's going to leave you. Why don't we set up something now? Because that is inevitably what could happen. So he helped me to see that like the path is here, but there's no box around us. And I need to start thinking second, third, fourth order of consequence of like, if this happens, what do I do? And it's not that I want to plan for the worst, but it's more so about thinking what could happen and how could I really ensure that my people are taken care of? Because leading, in my opinion, is a people first skill. I have to care more about them than me, because if that happened, I would still get paid, but they wouldn't. And that's where the mind needs to be.
Yeah. It's a disaster recovery plan, business continuity.
Yeah. Most people don't think about that.
It's definitely necessary, and it's huge into the corporate world. I had to deal with a lot of audits, dealing with companies and dealing with feds, not in a bad way, but just having to go through and audit every single piece, every single department. How long are you keeping your recordings? How long does the access code to this door change? How often does it change? How long does it log the memory? There's just a lot of aspects that there's always something to worry about, something to build on. It's just you just gotta pretty much keep going.
Yeah.
But with your with the sales team that you're creating, I know like centralizing everything, kind of bringing more communication to your team and team members, and building teams can be pretty hard. What do you think are, I guess, good things to do to bring a team together or to continue building teams long after a project is done?
I think it really comes down to like you have to put yourself in the team perspective. Why would they stay and continue working? Like what's keeping them here? Objectively, it's money, right? That's the first thing we need to cover is, are they actually making money? Are they able to take care of themselves? Because as soon as the money goes, there's only a certain period of time you have there before they leave too. Right. Like if one of the teams I worked for, all acquisition channels got shut off, I could probably keep them there for a couple of weeks, like working through the leads, but it's going to fade off.
Right.
So what it is past that is culture and vision, right? Money, culture, vision. Money gets people in the door. Culture and vision keeps them in the door, right? Because you have to legitimately have a vision so big for the company that all of the people inside of its vision can fit inside of as well. But you also, on top of that, have to have a culture that they love being around, right? Some of the teams I work with, we joke around and make some pretty fucked up jokes. Another company I work with, it's pretty intense. It's pretty growth oriented. When you show up to that meeting, you better know your fucking numbers or you're going to get derailed. There's other teams where like the culture is like, they're very leaned out. Like it's kind of just show up and like close deals and don't really worry about money. So like, what is the culture we want to create for these people, right? If we're looking at building a long-term team well past a project, like your culture and vision for the company has to be good. How you communicate, what happens internally, what people are seeing, what they're doing, like how you talk to your team about what the overarching goal is of the company, whatever it is we're doing, like that needs to consistently be put in front of them, as well as continuing to keep up with culture. If it's a fun culture and what you like to do is activities, like great, man, like keep doing that stuff. Keep reminding your employees that they're first and just continue doing the things that gets them excited. Right? It just depends on what is the culture, but the answer to that is culture and vision.
Right.
If you can cast a large enough vision and create a great enough culture, people will never leave.
And there's a lot of cool ways to build culture and have fun with teams and still play hard and get the job done, produce results, keep your clients happy, keep your customer base. Um, yeah, there's just a lot. Um, Besides pizza parties, I'm not talking about pizza parties.
Those are fun, dude. Those are fun. As long as the pizza's good, those are fun.
Right. That's funny. That's funny. Um, with so what's your future look like with Hardly Selling? What's your next couple of moves? Can you share anything?
Of course, man. I'm more than happy to. So this is live, so they might hear some of this stuff live. The one thing that I always hold near and dear to me with this company is I will shut it down if I'm not having fun. Because I don't have a problem making money. And that sounds a little egotistical, but like once you know how to make money, you can do it anywhere, dude. You know what I mean? If this business shut down, I'd probably just like pivot pretty quick and like do something small and take in 20, 30 a month and work less. So like the number one thing we look at with this company, and I ask everyone that I work with on a week-to-week basis, is, are you having fun? Are you enjoying it? Because if you're not, like, we don't need to do this. And it's not that I'm going to like, oh my God, I'm going to fire them. Like everyone on my team, I consider a partner. So like, there's no firing, but like, we need to make sure that we're moving forward and enjoying it in the process. Otherwise, why are we doing it? Because like money's not hard to make, but fun is hard to have. Enjoyment is hard to fulfill. So like, as long as we're having fun, we'll keep going. But there's the mantra we have. It's doing great things with good people. That's worth doing. Doing great things with good people. That's worth doing. And as long as we keep that in mind, we're doing the right stuff. But what's coming next for us is we've kind of poked and probed at this event we're putting on in September in Miami. We've poked and probed and kind of messed with everyone about like, seems like it's going to be nice in Miami in September. We have a cool event coming on with some really big names. I'm going to just leave that little teaser in there for everyone because there's more I can say, but ultimately like, it's going to be launched here and talked about in 7 days. So we'll just let the excitement roll. But we actually just restructured everything we do. We saw an area of need in the market. Dude, we do sales training. We do management training. We manage teams. We audit teams. We consult teams. So we're actually packaging this all up together to give people an all-in-one, like how to make your team better at a wildly affordable price. So like teams are going to get their manager trained. They're going to get the business owner trained, a full audit quarterly, so we know exactly what moves the team forward, all of their sales reps trained, and then a ton more stuff in here. Like our sales training, like we have a whole list of new IP being filmed and how we're actually structuring the training, how we're starting to get the culture of that community together. And like all of these things are going to be packaged together in one, and it's going to be a 6 to 12 month engagement. But like for what they're paying, dude, if they have 6 reps on their team or even 3, it's a steal because those reps could not pay a third of that price and get it anywhere. So like we're starting to fill the need that the market is showing that like, hey, it's not just about helping someone with marketing. It's not just about training a one-off sales rep. It's how do we bring this organization together from the sales to the marketing to the business to the strategy all in one to make sure everyone's legitimately rowing the boat the same way. So everyone's trained the same way. Everyone gets the same tactics. Everyone gets the same ideologies. Like everyone knows what the mission is and what the critical next steps are. So we're packaging that up, and we're probably going to launch it come like August 1st or maybe sometime like beginning of August. We just have a little bit more like putting together and back end stuff to film and like build. But that's going to be a really cool thing because I don't know any other sales consultancy that does it. Like there's some people that kind of do it, but they teach marketing or they just run sales teams or they just train reps. It's like no one's taken a look and treated every part of your business as a sales front different, but also had them together. And the idea there is like redefine sales management, redefine how teams are run, redefine the goddamn culture of the team. Because when we do that, you actually build an empire. And empires are only built by having people all working toward the same goal, all on the same path. And what you find in organizations is like sales is siloed, marketing siloed, the business, like people are all in different areas, like not really knowing how to cross over. Well, dude, let's get everyone moving the same way and in congruence. Also get them training on what needs to be done. And from there, it's like when you have a bunch of people rowing a boat, it moves a lot faster than one person trying to move upstream.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It definitely does.
Yeah.
Getting everyone on the same mission and vision is super, super important. Having everyone on the same page, same communication channels. Yeah, it's definitely a foundational piece.
Can I can I leave a tip in here for people?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you have anyone in your group or your network that runs big sales teams?
I'm sure somewhere in there.
Okay. So there was something I did, and I ran a sales team of it was 77. AEs, SDRs, setters, closers, whatever, it doesn't matter. We used to do a monthly team meeting, and this was awesome. Where we would put everything together, top performers, new people on the team, talk about the leaders. But there was something that I used to do in there that worked really, really well. And it's like, of course, like make sure people are going over values. We have people read over company values, company mission. But I would actually have people, there were 77 of us, start calling out other people in the meeting for a value that they were living and how they lived it. So for example, like let's say our value is integrity. I would say, Ryan, like what you did the past week with client X, that really shows me that you are living by the value of integrity, right? And I know that's one of our core values. So I just wanted you to know you are living the core value integrity. And like we would go through it and everyone would start calling people out for things that they did. And it wasn't so much like, oh, you're doing this wrong, but it was like you're getting praise from people you don't even know are like looking at you.
Right.
And what it would do is it would just boost the community and culture up so high, people would leave that meeting feeling great. And yeah, during the meeting, I'd be like, hey, these are the things we need to do. I need you guys to do shit. But that would bring up energy so high. Even though I was asking them to do things on the back end, they were excited to do the extra bit. And if you know sales reps, when you ask them to do extra stuff, they put themselves in a coffin. They're like, no. But it's a really easy way to boost up excitement of the team because like now Dean is getting praise from all these people. Ryan's getting praise from all these people, like all these people are. And it's just a really awesome thing if you have a big team.
Yeah, for sure. That'll definitely build up some chemistry. Are there a lot of events or games or team building activities that you guys play out?
Sometimes we'll do a little bit of role play pong where I'll be the prospect and I'll have the sales reps on the team go through a sales call or a set call and I'll just like randomly stop them and say the next person's name and they need to pick up. Yeah. We'll do like monthly bonuses or monthly leaderboard things. Like we just rolled something out to a team member. If they hit their projections this month, we're going to fly them out here to hang out. So it's like we do different stuff. It's different for every team, man. Like what do they need? Because as Sean taught me, like we don't need to operate in a box. Every team is different. How we operate with every team is different. How we operate with every person is different. So like everyone needs different things, but we do roll out stuff as we see necessary. And even if it's just fun, we'll roll it out too, as long as we can fulfill on it.
Right. There's a handful of fun things that I've done at previous companies or we've done at previous companies. I think probably the most fun in the office I had was like a Nerf gun war at a call center with like the walls and people were pushing each other around on the rolling chairs while the other one was shooting. It was
awesome.
It was definitely it was like a 200-person call center too. It was pretty nuts. Um, but with that, I mean, I just think people talk about it, have fun, and they'll keep talking about it for a while, if not forever. I mean, I still talk about it. I remember a lot of people um, just going crazy, having fun. Um, but that's kind of the purpose of building that chemistry in that environment. It can really change the movement and get the ball rolling faster in the direction you want it to go. Um,
Yes.
but man, I know you got other stuff to jump onto, but I definitely appreciate you coming on. What's the name of your podcast? How can people get in touch with you? Website, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So podcast name is Sales Management Unleashed. We're on Spotify. I haven't put it on Apple or anything like that yet because dude, I don't care, man. Like I want people to see it, but I don't do this for like, oh my God, I want a bunch of people to see. So you can find us on Spotify. I
Mm-hmm.
post everything on my Facebook, Dean Kozora, Kozora. You can just send me a friend request or follow me. I post our podcast on there. I post everything we do. Our website is pretty bad right now. We have a new one that's just about finished. It's just hardlyselling.com. That'll actually be out and look kind of nice. And I think in like 4 or 5 days,
Mm-hmm.
it's on the tail end of revisions. But I would just find me on Facebook, man. I'm not like this big name anything. Like you'll message me and I'll probably message you back that day, like probably within a couple hours. Because like my big thing is human connection, right? It's doing good things for good people, right? Having a good time. So like I always direct people to my Facebook because no matter where I go, how big I get, even if we get big, like I want my direct source to be through me. Like I want people to know me and feel like they're getting me. And as soon as they're not, I've lost.
Yeah, man. Do you have Instagram or LinkedIn, or are you just mainly on Facebook?
I have Instagram, dean.kozora. I don't use it as much, but I do use it. I'm starting to put a little bit more on there. So it's
Nice.
making its way. It's just not fully there yet.
Cool, cool. And the YouTube is the video for next week because you have a bunch of stuff launching within the next week. Who's is the podcast on YouTube as well?
Just Spotify right now.
Just Spotify. Then that's it. Gotcha. But the
Yes.
video is going to be shown later.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
going to be, you'll be able to see it through Spotify actually, because it's recorded live with camera. It actually, you can see it on Spotify if you're watching through Spotify.
Right. Cool. Well, man, I appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely chat more soon. I'm looking forward to having you back on the podcast in probably a couple months and see all the growth and how big your team is. Maybe an office behind you.
I hope so. Maybe not this wall, brother. Cool. I'm going to go train a team, dude. Thank you so much for having
Yeah,
me
man.
on.
Yeah, man. Have a good one. Good chatting with you.
Later, brother.
Bye.